all about the coronation flowers, including a tribute to Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip. The florals at King Charles' upcoming coronation will have extra special meaning. Flowers from the Farm, the non-profit organization supplying the event's botanical decor, has provided the floral arrangements that will decorate Westminster Abbey for Saturday's crowning ceremony. And the sentimental choices include a nod to the monarch's late parents, Elizabeth and Prince Philip. Those cut from flowering shrubs and trees from the 5 Royal Horticultural Society gardens across the British Isles will adorn the high altar, including branches from the pair of Doic beech trees planted by Queen Elizabeth I and Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, at Wesley in 1978. The press release states, the high altar will also be decorated with seasonal foliage such as crabapple blossom, amelanchier, camellia, hazel, rhododendron, and azalea alongside each cut from an ancient cluster of trees at Risgarden, Bridgewater. Following the coronation, all the flowers and branches will be donated to Floral Angels, a charity that can run entirely by volunteers that repurposes flowers from events into bouquets and arrangements to share with care homes, hospices, shelters, and other vulnerable members of the community, per the release of this, adding that Queen Camilla is patron of Floral Angels. No single-use plastics or floral foam used in the arrangements, which will be designed using sustainable techniques by Shane Connolly and accompanied to reflect their Majesty's deep affection for the natural world and their shared passion for gardening, and showcase the best of the British countryside in the spring, inspired by the richness of Westminster. For the release of this news that is issued, that is shared, this is over 80 members of Flowers from the Farm have grown more than 120 types of flowers from the Isle of Skye to the coast of Cornwall, and from the mountains of Snowdonia to Tobermoor in Northern Ireland, on farmland, allotments and cutting gardens among all of the UK. 4 kingdoms: England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. Locations for the florals will include adornments on not only the landmark building's high altar, but also the choir, the Great West Door, and the grave of the unknown soldier. On the Great West Door, the statues will a pair of tall utopiaries, which will be accompanied by meadow of wide grasses and cowslips, primroses and violets, to keep the day's festivities alive following the king's coronation. The yews will be replanted in the new biodiverse topiary garden at Sandringham, which will be open to the public, the release states. Symbolism will also reign supreme at the grave of the unknown soldier, where fresh spring flowers that are symbolic of remembrance will be displayed, echoing the colorful British woodflower meadows seen on the hand-painted invitations to their Majesty's coronation. These include sprigs of rosemary, bay for virtue, bluebells and forget-me-nots for constancy of love, daffodils for chivalry, cowslips, lilac for memories of youth, and lily of the valley and auriculus, which both appeared in Her Majesty's wedding bouquet in 2005. The release shares seasonal florals will adorn the choir, being placed at either side, as the release states. These blooms will be surrounding the Coronation Theatre, where most of the ceremony for King Charles 74 will take place on Saturday. Guests will notice rich golds, burgundies, purples, pinks, and reds of the high altar and the cosmetic pavement, as well as their Majesty's robes of state and estate in these arrangements. The installations will feature hellebores, a particular favorite of the king, which appeared in His Majesty's buttonhole for their Majesty's wedding in 2005. Honeysuckle tulips, ranunculus blossom, jasmine, and equagia leaf, which is an ancient symbol of the Holy Spirit, with foliage of rosemary, birch, bay, and well broom grown on the apathasos, what's a issue, or